some good music. I can't believe we hadn't gotten the comments on our music yet. Anyway, we're back here. Hollywood Coal and Clear Fire. What's going on, dude?
What's up, man?
Coach, welcome back, man.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun last time, man. Hopefully can make this a regular thing. So what have you been up to since we've been gone?
I've been playing Call of Duty. I'm glad y'all sucked me out of it.
Yeah, I called you earlier today. And he was telling me about his Call of Duty experiences and stuff.
Yeah, and I've been trying to prestige submachine gun, and
dude, that's a hard one.
The way they have it set up, it says you get to level 4, you can prestige, but it's not. You have to level all the way to what would be level 5.
Yeah, and that
prestige.
4 is longer than like
yeah.
like all the other 3 combined. Like
I was like 88,000 of 146,000, and I posted on Reddit as like, how am I not 60% done with this level? You know, because the bar is down there like at 10%, and the way they have it set up is it's like your entire experience from the whole beginning is on that little bitty bar. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So it's not like that one level. So I got a ways to go.
Yeah, that stuff is that's real addicting. If you played the ranked matches on there, they actually have a ranked match, and it's 4v4. And I just started doing it. You gotta play like 10 matches. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 10 matches. And then it kind of gives you a rank for the season 1, and I guess they're going to do a season 2 later or whatever. And but everybody on there is using those PPH submachine guns, so it must be like the best gun of the game. It's just one of those things you see everybody else doing. It's like, man, they must know something I don't know.
Well, the gun you get for prestige and submachine guns is supposed to be the best one.
No, I mean I disagree with that. It's the MP40, but the Thompson is the best one to me. They and people will argue you either love it or hate it for whatever reason, but whatever play style you got. But most people use that PPH. But if you get that Thompson with that gangster clip at the bottom, that big drum clip, dude, it is bad.
I'm only level 43, so I haven't unlocked everything yet. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't had a chance to play with it.
Well, I know I speak a lot about Destiny, but that sounds a lot like Destiny to me, because like you have like the whole meta play, and basically everybody's playing with one single gun, because that's kind of how Destiny's been wrapped up in the PvP, is everybody's just using one specific loadout, and it's like ridiculous, because it's like everybody's using the same guns. Why can't you use something different? I don't use the same guns as everybody else does. I fell in love with my prosecutor gun that I had there, so
that's just the nature of man, because I still play Magic. I played Magic, the card game, since I was like 16 years old. And
dude, I would have known that. I'd have played Magic with you. I used to play that all the time too.
There's this enormous pool of cards, but at the end of the day, everybody will play 5 to 6 decks.
Well, yeah, you play almost the same thing in that one too. Oh my gosh.
Especially since the internet has made all the information available to everybody. Yeah. Everybody's going to gravitate toward what has been determined the best.
I tried to play it on Xbox or something. You had to put like an environment card down, and that determined something else. And I was like, it's too complicated.
Oh no, it's not complicated at all.
You got to put down your environment down.
You throw down your land cards to be able to cast your different things.
Every fantasy had a standard environment. But what you say? Oh yeah, I mean, just we were talking about the best gun. I mean, there's always a best gun of the game. Yeah, you don't just go around and nerf the best one for the time, and then you nerf that one, and they'll find another best gun, and everybody gets mad because you mean there's people that everybody wants to actually do good. I mean, that's kind of crazy. It seems like somebody would use the worst gun.
I noticed earlier today the gun I was playing with, I had the 4 power scope on it. I started to notice that I was kind of slow, you know, like acquiring the target. Like if they were outside the scope, I wouldn't be able to see them and they'd kill me. So I thought, you know, I'll take it off and use another attachment. And the iron sights were absolutely terrible. Even with the quick draw, you know, it was just, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So each one has its perks. Pardon the pun, but
they did away with those perks.
There's inevitably going to be a best gun.
Yeah.
You can't compare a Wingmaster 22 rifle to a military grade AR-15.
That's what I mean, but that's
everybody wants to use the AR-15.
But that's how every game is too, though. Especially every game that's based around a gun. There's always the best gun out there. I mean, even with Borderlands 2, everybody's going out for like the Infinity pistols and things like that. So they're going for those one specific gun and using that. It kind of, to me, it almost burns out the game because it's like, man, you got, especially Borderlands with the billion guns that you have in that game. I'm like, you got a billion guns. There's no real specific best one. It's just been deemed by the community as the best one.
It's like GoldenEye, man. They used to start you on the club, so you'd pick it up on GoldenEye.
Dude, I love the club. That was fun. That was a fun gun.
It just sounds terrible too. I remember playing that at Jones, and I got that just messing around on the facility where you got to beat it in like 2 minutes and 13 seconds, and that you just on like the 007 hardest rating. And dude, you just have to constantly. I mean, you're like strafing, you don't ever stop. You just strafe all the way through because you move a little bit faster. And I did it, and so you get to be invincible. You turn that sheet on, and that's the only way to get it. And of course, that's the best one. And so I went back home to try to do it again, and I couldn't do it. It's similar to the Axe Night story so this is the Nintendo 64, and I could not do it. Oh my gosh, I don't know what was going on, and I grabbed the controller again and threw it down on the N64, but they had made, the N64 was round. It's like a stealth fighter where the radio waves bounce off of it, so they never comes directly back. The radar so that glanced off because it was designed to take a beating from kids. So then I kicked it, and it still worked perfectly, like nothing happened to it. That thing was like a turtle shell, man. That thing was tough. But it just frustrated me to no end, and then I finally eventually got it, of course. But man, that thing was so.
Got that exactly rage quitting in you.
I don't rage quit. Well, I guess I do, but
that might be why Nintendo always stuck to cartridges.
so kids can beat
it. You come down on a PlayStation, that CD's on. It's done. But a cartridge can stand
that
up.
That top just pops open. You can't close it back. Just have to tape it down. But yeah, man, those Nintendos would take a beating. But it didn't even have a mark on it or anything. It's just like, hey, you've come a long way, Nintendo. After since gashed your old NES. But yeah, so we coordinated with Edgy for the EverQuest one we kind of mentioned last time on the Dragon Warrior series, Dragon Warrior podcast. So she's going to try to get on probably in the next few weeks.
Yeah, the first part of February is what we're shooting for.
Yeah, and do a good EverQuest one. So I don't remember anything. I mean, I remember it pretty well. But I'm so far behind, and it's been 10 years.
So we'll have 2 active players on. Y'all definitely check that one out. It's going to be really interesting, especially with new EverQuest content, which I didn't realize they were putting new content out still for that game.
Oh, they just released a new expansion about a month ago.
Yeah,
it's they redid Kunark with all the dragons and whatnot. That's kind of what got me interested in it again. Is I want to level up so I can play through that stuff. That was my favorite time. In the history of the game before it got crazy with aliens and stuff.
What? Oh god, yeah, we got to hear that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get aliens on that.
They got pistols in it now.
No, they got space magic, man. Space magic.
They got a 45. You can get a 1911 or a Glock.
What was it? Arbicus that you could always get in Dungeons and Dragons. It cost like 1,000 gold more than any sword. It was just like a muzzleloader pistol.
A gun blade. You pull the trigger, it makes it sharper as it comes in. This is crazy, man. I think there's crazy stuff in these Japanese games, man. But anyway, man, I was thinking about this. I got Clearfire a Christmas gift.
A very awesome Christmas gift.
It's a mug that says all I do is play video games and know things. And I don't even. Do you even drink coffee, by the way?
That cup that you saw when I was holding it up when I sent you that picture, it had hot tea in it at the time.
Okay.
So when I'm sick, I drink hot tea. When I'm not, I drink coffee. So yes, it's going to get a lot of use out of it. It'll probably end up wearing the front of it off in a month after drinking out of it so much.
So I thought about that, and I was like, that's perfect for him because he's like the news guy on here. He knows a lot of stuff. But then I started thinking about this. And you'll get a kick out of this, Coach, is that, that Clear has never asked a single question on a podcast at all. He's never asked a question to anybody because he knows it. That's perfect. He already knows everything. So he thinks that, questions are for the weak. Right. So you don't ask questions.
You don't ask questions, you just get told answers.
So he's never asked a question, and I have not verified this. Okay, from here you mark my word, but I'm going to challenge anybody that is listening to a podcast if they can go back and find any time that Clearfire's asked a question to send me the time and the date or the episode and the time so I can verify it. And if you find that, I will send you a brand new video game of your choice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
That's
how much I believe it. And I don't know. And I don't know if that's true or not. And I don't mean an implied question either where he's talking to the audience and says something like, you tell us, what games do you want to review? I don't mean that. I mean something like, oh, really? That came out then? Or something like that? You will not find it, I bet. I bet you will not find it. But from here on, it doesn't count. So he might ask a question from here on. But from this
I'm gonna try to keep. I'm gonna try. Before. Just for a challenge, I'm gonna try to keep that up to where I don't ask an actual question. I'm gonna try to do that. And everybody knows me too. I'm stubborn. When I think I know something, I'm gonna lock on to it until I know for sure that it's wrong or right or whatever. I don't care.
So since I've laid down the gauntlet, I gotta clarify. So yeah, if you can send me the episode and time. And then a game, and so no limited editions, none of that kind of stuff. Just I'm gonna order it off Amazon and have it shipped to you if you can find it. Just tell me, $60 and less, I'll get it for you if you can find it.
That's not a bad way to be.
I think it is. It's a terrible way to be.
No, it's not terrible. How are you going to learn anything? It creates people with conversations, because if I ask you a question, you're going to be like, I don't know, let me look that up. And then there goes the conversation. If I come out and just straight up throw the fact out. How do you know I don't know it? Because I'm challenging you. And I don't care if you know it or not. I'm still challenging you.
So you're just like me sometimes, where you ask your statement. So you don't ask a question like an interrogative. All of your statements are actually questions. Is what so when you say this game came out in '98,
my statements
if it's wrong, you need me to say it.
No, my statements are I believe what I say until proven wrong, and then I'll admit, oh, my bad, I misspoke. But I'm not going to ask. But I'm not going to ask a question because I want if I'm wrong, I want you to prove me wrong. Because I'm usually pretty sure.
I'm not even talking about you asking a question of your own knowledge. I'm talking about you asking a question of a game that I'm talking about and just some obscure fact and then ask a question about it.
Oh, yeah. No. I know all of them. I know all the obscure facts. That's the thing. I know all of them.
That's why I got you the mug. I said, this is, it really was like, this is perfect, man. And did you? I wrapped that joker up so good.
Man, dude, I had to go get one of my kitchen knives and start like scalpel that bad boy out. Man, it was crazy.
Well, anyway, all right, cool. I just wanted to throw that down there because I thought about this. I bet there's no question asked, but I'm curious to see if there is. So if somebody finds it, let me know. Send me a message on Facebook or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, hit us up. No, hit us up and let us know. We want you to. I want to see this. Because I'm going to try to verify it too. So yeah, you done got me riled up.
You don't count, and Coach, you can't do it either.
You done got me riled up. So I'm not going to go look for it, but I want to verify. You're going to send it to where I can verify it because I can verify if I'm asking the question or not.
In this day and age, almost every question is some type of subjective information because everything objective is Google. You know, you're not. And when I'm at work at the hospital, it pains me when people call me and ask me a question, and I just type it into Google and give them the answer. You know what I'm saying?
That's all.
Is your internet down, sir?
Well, what kills me is the dumb questions. My thing is I follow a lot of groups on Facebook, and of course, once again bringing up Destiny, but the whole thing is of where is Xur? Everybody wants to know where Xur is. You can Google that on Friday morning.
You don't ask that question.
You can Google that on Friday morning, and they will have 20 videos and 20 write-ups of where he's at. You ask that question in a group, I'm going to blast you for it. And I blast them almost every time because it's ridiculous. Just go Google it. You could save yourself time from typing, where is Xur, in Facebook and waiting for somebody to respond to go into Google and go, where is Xur? And it's right there.
I've got to add something to this. I think people that ask questions on Facebook, it's some type of personality disorder. Because the fact that you're on Facebook,
who's winning the Alabama game?
It means you're on the internet if you're on Facebook. so
I'm not going to say what they need. I'm just going to refer to it. They need a Red Foreman done to them. If you watched That 70s Show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So,
but anyway, that's funny, man. But yeah, so
no, that's a good challenge. That's a good challenge for everybody out there.
Yeah, I just don't believe. I don't believe they'll find it. I don't think it exists. But anyway, it doesn't count from here on out. So if he asks another question, which he probably won't, but
I'm not going to do it.
If he does,
try to keep it up.
But anyway, so what we're going to talk about today, we hadn't even mentioned, but you'll see it in the title. But it's the Metal Gear series. And so last time Coach was here, we asked him what he wanted to do next, and he wanted to do kind of a Metal Gear thing. He was playing Metal Gear Solid 5. I actually jumped on it after that. Read like I said, the Ready Player One. So I got a lot from that podcast. That was a lot of fun. I actually was tweeting about it earlier today.
Yeah, I downloaded Metal Gear Solid 5. I just hadn't played it yet. I was playing some other games that I wanted to try to finish out. So I'm gonna jump on that soon.
So I got very addicted to Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, I feel like a kid. I look forward to it. Thinking about it at work or something.
It's deep, man.
It's awesome.
I completely forgot about Mother Base, man.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know any of that.
Extracting all the soldiers,
That's good. That was
all
cool.
that, man. It is so deep.
Yeah, you can build your. We'll get into it, but I mean, it's really like a little RPG to a different extent of how you strengthen your different various statistics like intel or development, research, so on, medical stuff like that.
I actually beat it like in 2015 on PS3. It was like the last great game they released on, before they did it on both the PS3 and PS4. I finally bought the PS4 to play Bloodborne because they didn't do it on the PS3. But I liked it enough that I bought it again and started over from scratch because there's no way you can port your saves over.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah, it really is. It's a very pleasant surprise that they had that for free. That's when I got it, and I bought I got it for free, the Ground Zeroes, and I never I touched it for a minute.
Yeah, I've got Ground Zeroes, and I've got the wasn't it Phantom Pain, the one that was just free.
Phantom Pain.
Yeah, it's Phantom Pain, and so, but they are integral, or what am I trying to say? Integral to the story of the whole Metal Gear series, which is unbelievably deep.
Well,
and so many details.
Before we get there, I want to share just a couple of tidbits of news before we get there. So the one tidbit of news that's still big on everything is Xbox is actually trying to start pushing loot boxes. And what I mean by that is Xbox is trying to do, like with their achievements, when you earn achievements, you earn credits toward loot boxes. So Xbox is trying to jump on the loot box bandwagon. And this is for their different things, because with Xbox Live, you get a character that you can dress up and whatever, and this stuff is supposed to be cosmetic stuff for your character to dress up as. I think it's ridiculous that Xbox is trying to push in loot boxes. I really think that we should, push people to get away from loot boxes. Destiny, they're actually having a big conversation on Thursday. We're recording this on a Wednesday. On a Thursday, that the developer is actually going to have a big talk about what's coming up because of the big debacle about loot boxes hiding stuff from the Dawning, which it very much was a paywall on that part of it. And then also too, since we're about to talk about the Metal Gear series, it's actually this week is actually Metal Gear's 30th anniversary. So that's a big thing. It's kind of cool that we ended up, picking this. We actually picked this way ahead of time. We didn't realize it hit the same time, but it's actually their 30th anniversary this week.
So how does that work? Like, if you get an achievement in any game, you get some type of loot box that is
you get like
Xbox Universal.
You get the credits.
You get credits toward a loot box. So it like takes so many credits to get a loot box. So when you get an achievement, you get a set amount of credits.
Well, what's in the loot box?
The loot box has
shirts and hats and stuff.
So your Xbox Live avatar you have.
For your guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said it was.
So
for your Xbox,
not an Xbox real shirt.
So your Xbox Live avatar that you have on Xbox Live, you can get hats and shirts and pants and all kinds of different outfits for them and all that kind of junk.
That's ridiculous.
They're doing loot boxes now to make that. So what's going to eventually happen is you're going to be able to buy credits for loot boxes now for just your little stupid little avatar.
Did they already say they're going to take real money for it or no?
No, they haven't said that yet. But
if they keep it the way where you don't take real money for it, that would be good, I think, because they're just trying to do something. Or at least let you buy it straight out. I mean, with your credit tokens or your tokens that you get for your trophies or whatever, because PlayStation has the trophy system to where you get a platinum if you get all the trophies. Xbox doesn't have it. I don't think Xbox One has it. I think it's the same as Xbox 360. That's the last time I played it, but you do get those little credits. If this is a bronze trophy or whatever, it's only, or I don't even think they have the different types of medals. I think it's just a trophy, and they're ranked based on how many credits they give you.
Well, that's not necessarily that bad. Really, all it is for your EP.
The kicker to that, though, is the opposite to that is PlayStation. What they have stated they're going to do is that with your platinum trophies, they actually count as credit toward you being able to get a new game.
That's awesome.
So, with your trophies that you get. Yeah. You should be able to get a new game. I don't know when they're pushing that out, but that was kind of the thing is that they wanted to have it to where you could actually get things with your trophy. So if you platinum, you could go get a game off the Play Store or whatever. I think that's a way to go versus doing loot boxes. I'm really starting to dislike loot boxes the more and more I hear about them because they are technically gambling.
Another legitimate example is on Call of Duty. Like today, they reward random loot boxes after every match, and I had gotten 2. I rolled one of them and just got
pistol grip.
Dog turds, yeah, 3 pistol grips.
Why do they have pistol grips?
I rolled the next one and I got the best sniper rifle you can get.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact make and model, but the first match I played, I went like 10-2. It's one shot, one kill.
I'm okay with that type of loot box. I'm okay because that's a reward because you worked for that. The loot boxes, I'm not okay with.
Well, you can buy them in Call of Duty.
Yeah, you can. In Call of Duty, they've got them set to where you can buy them.
The dice, like you said.
And then you might spend $5 and get 3 pistol grips, man.
Yeah,
and it might not even be. Did you ever think about that for a minute? Like, why do you have? Did you hear any of our podcasts? We talk about these pistol grips. Like 80% of the loot is a pistol grip, and you can't even see it. And they all go to you can't even see the pistol. I mean, it's so stupid.
I don't play Overwatch, but from what I've been reading, especially with this whole loot box controversy stuff going on, Overwatch has really has implemented the loot box system in a good way because it's all just cosmetic. That's all it is. If you want to buy all the cosmetic you want, great. Go ahead, dump all your money in the loot boxes. That's fine at that point because you're not going to do anything that changes the game. But when you put And two, if you want to, you can work for those loot boxes too on Overwatch. You don't have to pay for them. You can work for them. There's an unlimited amount of loot boxes you can earn. Destiny basically has a stopgap on you. Destiny 2 has a stopgap on you because your first 3 levels have an XP boost on them. And after that, it's a crawl. It's a nightmare to get any more after that. So it's kind of like a soft cap. You get 3 a week. I mean, let people get all the loot boxes they want by playing for them. Don't make it impossible for them. That's my big issue with it is putting stuff behind a paywall that you end up having to pay for or work 10 times harder for than what you would if you just normally played the game.
It's interesting what you said about PlayStation. I didn't know they were doing that because...
that was the talks at one time. I don't know if it's still going through, but that was what I'd heard through some of the articles reading.
Well, you're talking about Destiny 2 and their loot boxes, and I just want to have to make a statement right now that can be quoted on Twitter later, that Destiny 2 was just a $60 loot box. and everybody got crappy reward out of it. So we all fail.
I feel like that because it was too short of a campaign. It was, it wasn't done to its full extent. It left everything from Destiny 1 behind, and it was just ridiculous. And everybody's defending it like, oh, well, D2's got to start somewhere. I was like, yeah, but you still have all of this back work that you have of Destiny 1. 3 years of development there that you basically threw out the window because you went back to what D1 was.
And you heard it first
when it first
on
started.
HnK Video Game Experience before they finally released the official statement saying that's exactly what they did.
That's a perfect lead in to what we're going to talk about later, Metal Gear. The controls in Metal Gear Solid on PS1 are the same as they are in Metal Gear Solid 5 on PS4. And the controller's still the same. You don't change the game. You change the content. Give me a story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where the gaming world has gone wrong. When you get a formula that works, stick with it. Don't change the button I reload with and the button I lay down on the ground with.
So we were talking about Mario earlier. Mario is always in a 2-button controller where you have an A and a B. So we won't go to Super Nintendo or whatever. But even on Nintendo 64, Mario always jumps with A and runs with B. You don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Did you know that Nintendo released a game that is backwards? Clear, you ought to know this because you got a mug that says it. You do.
I imagine a bunch of kids got killed.
No, they did. You know which game it is?
They released a game that was backwards.
They had B was jump. It's a Mario game where B was jump and A was run.
What system?
Well, that'll give it away.
Trying to get it out of you. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's the Virtual Boy Mario. The one where they kick shells back and forth.
Well, they did so much weird stuff on Virtual. They did so much weird stuff on Virtual Boy anyway. Virtual Boy was just a messed up system anyway.
So unnecessary.
Yeah, you just messed it up. I mean, now we got to take it back. You can't jump with B. You just don't do that.
No,
in any game, and you don't in a fighting game. You don't make jump up. Because when you got to do a finishing move, and a part of the finishing move has up in it,
you're going to break that finishing move.
If you do a finish, it's like people on Call of Duty. Oh my gosh! You don't jump. Your guy can't jump. It looks stupid. He jumps around the corner on Call of Duty. He jumps doing a finishing move. You can't do that. A World War II hardened soldier don't jump around a corner firing his gun at you.
Not like you're trying to do a dragon point.
Yeah. Come out spin kick and like Ryu. But anyway, man. So I wanted to mention this real quick before we get into Metal Gear 2, the SNES Classic contest we got going on. Do you know about this, Coach?
I read about it. I've already ordered one off eBay though. So
you paid the hacker or the people that
he paid the premium price for it.
Yeah, you paid the scalper price.
I ordered a original.
You paid the gold price or the iron price?
I ordered the straight up original.
You paid the gold. Well, I mean, everybody loves that thing, and I got one too, and it's awesome. I mean, it's just like I've mentioned before. It's just something about having an official Nintendo product release, again, a new one, and it's in HD and all this. But anyway, so the contest, we're almost like at 700 something entries right now. If you want to get a leg up, and I've been calling it subscribe to the podcast off of Podbean, but Clear told me that I was wrong, and it's actually followers. So we don't have it's no paid subscription. Everything's free, but it's just a follower And so if you follow, originally we're going to give 10 votes, but I'm going to go ahead and up that to 20. We want to get more followers. The goal is obviously to get you guys to listen to the podcast. I mean, we love giving away stuff like this, too, to fellow gamers, and I've made a lot of new fun contacts on Twitter and Facebook by doing this. Ultimately we want to get you guys over here and enjoy this content as well and be a part of this. So 20 entries for following on Podbean. So all you have to do is click that app on that that link on that post. It'll take you right to it. Click follow. It does nothing with your information, anything in. It just says it's just your email address. Or go to that link, click follow, and you're there, man. And I'll get that email, and I'll put that email in 20 times on that spreadsheet. And then I said, we're going to do that random generator. So that'll give you a lot of votes there. There's some people that have
give you a big chance to win. I mean, you got to think about it. If there's 700 and some odd entries and you've only got one, you've only got a 1 out of 700 some odd chance to do it. You go in and all you have to do is follow our podcast. Yeah. And then bam, you've got 20 extra entries right there. That's a great way to get a leg up on everybody else.
And it lets you know when we have new podcasts released.
Exactly. You can set it in Podbean. It's a great application. You can have it on Android, iOS. You can just pull it up just through Google Chrome, whatever browser you use. It works really well on all of them. And once you go in there, it'll say, hey, do you want to go ahead and have these auto download? You can make them auto download, or you can just have them to where they notify you where the new ones come out. It's a great app. Go and check it out. Check us out on there. Like it, get you some more entries into this contest.
Yep, and so a lot of people are liking and commenting on that post that just tells about the contest. But just keep in mind, that's for every post that we have. So you can like and share and comment on every post. Some people have kind of done that, and others
there's a few that have done that. But I mean, if you're just stopping at that one post, you're selling yourself short. You're only getting a handful of likes, a handful of votes. I mean, because you got to think about it. On that post there, you can only get a total of 5 entries for it, and then if you like our Facebook page, that's 10. That's only 15. You can more than double your entries by going and giving us a follow on Podbean. Throw in 20. Now you're up to 35 instead of just 15.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get on this Metal Gear, man. Did anybody go and learn the whole story again? Because I didn't play every single one of them. I just played. I played the very first one, Metal Gear Solid,
that's where we need to start.
The very first one? Nintendo version?
No. Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
I read the reason they named it Metal Gear Solid was that it went from 2D to 3D.
There's 3 reasons why.
I remember how much I enjoyed it and how much of an impact it had on me, but it's universally regarded as one of the most important video games of all time.
Yeah.
It was that good.
The guy that did it, Hideo Kojima, everybody knows, but he was actually going to be a film director. He wanted to be a film director, and so that's why you get a lot of cinematics and this kind of stuff. And in fact, that kind of turned me off of the game a little bit, but I will get into that later. But Metal Gear Solid, PlayStation. I remember that came out, and there was a demo that came out with a game prior, and I can't remember what game it came with. I think it was Xenogears. I don't remember. I'm just thinking out loud here. But there was a demo that lets you play that very first stage. And man, I played that very first stage so many times. When he gets on the elevator and then it's over. And just like 2 people there and you're...
Oh, yeah. I remember you buying the game just for that, too.
Yeah, because I was my roommate at Jones when we did it.
Yeah, you're like, we got to go get this game so I can play this one level of this other game.
I read something that... it might have been IGN or Computer Gaming Monthly or somebody. They said there's more content in this one level than there is in most finished games.
And we talked about this at some point. I think it was when we talked about Halo, about how what makes a great multiplayer or a great game is that every time you turn it on, it can be a different experience. And you'll see this in Metal Gear Solid 5. It's also in all the Metal Gears that. Hey, your goal is to extract this prisoner or to extract this truck or whatever, and you can do it any way you want to. You can go in there blasting, you can go in there sneaking, whatever. And so it's a different experience every time. You go in there with new weapons and new buddies. That's the Metal Gear Solid 5, so I'm kind of jumping ahead, but same thing would happen on Metal Gear Solid. You can go blasting or you can knock on the little crates and get them to come around. Like, huh? What's that? You know, and you go over there and you just snap their neck.
What was that noise?
yeah. But when they see you, man, it's just so loud. It used to scare me to death.
Well, it's realistic. You know, like just think if you were infiltrating a base in North Korea and somebody sees you, you're dead. You know, you're not going to be able to fight off like 30 people by yourself. That's just
that a cardboard box. You'll be all right.
That's the delusion that Call of Duty propagates. You know.
Have you ever been playing a game with a friend? And I remember one particular. You'll be playing Call of Duty or something. He'll be getting slaughtered, and he'll say, like under his, he's like, man, if this was real life, I would like, you know, like it's like this is no indication of how war would be in real life. Like you're not a good super warrior, you know. It's like it's a video game.
So to roll over to Metal Gear, I actually got some interesting info for y'all. So a lot of people assume that Solid Snake is a reference to Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. A lot of people assume that was an assumption that I even had at one time because I was like, why is he called Solid Snake? And it's actually Hideo Kojima actually said the use of the name of Snake was the most appropriate symbol of living thing that hides his presence and sneaks without any noise. That's basically what you do in the entire game.
But so he didn't
want to use Cobra, he didn't want to use Anaconda or Viper because that's specific, and the protagonist is the player. So you are Solid Snake, and he used solid to give the impression of something being hard, the opposite of soft. And so also too, you know, once he made, you know, there's also, you know, he had to bring about an opposite, so he had Liquid Snake. And then that's also too where he also brought in for the third, you know, he couldn't call it gas, so he actually looked at physics terms, and it's solidus, which solidus is in between being a solid and liquid state. So he just wanted to have those to define it. So it's actually based on that, not on, you know, Escape from New York. Just an interesting tidbit that I found.
So he did take some notes from Snake Plissken. What was he said he wanted a hero with a body like what was it, Coach? Do you remember? Is a body like something and a face like Christopher Walken.
Yeah,
he said it. I can't remember who the body was. Maybe it was Kurt Russell.
No,
it wasn't Kurt Russell. Was it like Van Damme or somebody?
It was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
And a face like
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That's exactly what it was.
But anyway.
And that's the perfect time, 1998, kickboxer, blood sport, you know. Christopher Walken was still relatively young.
Yeah, so that's Walken.
That was like a superhuman.
So I got to say, from my experience when played it with Solid Snake, you know, as far as I knew, that's the hero of all the Metal Gears, right? And you play through it in some convoluted story, you have no idea what's going on, and he did not shy away from cutscenes. I mean, like the second one, you go rescue the mayor or somebody, I don't know who it was, some important official, and he's in that jail cell, and man, that's like a 30-minute cutscene. You're like, dude, this is the longest cutscene. That's when you know what you've gotten into, but then it kind of slows down with the cut. I mean, that doesn't slow down with the cutscenes, but they're not as long. But
and they're not that bad. They're not that cumbersome because it's a great story.
Yeah,
exactly. It actually fits. I mean, it goes back to his basis of wanting to be a movie producer and be a movie director and wanting to do that. He just did it in video games.
And my desire to want to play my video game when I play
a video game as a work of art.
I know, and I agree with that. But I mean, you just didn't expect to have that. And that was when I saw that one, you know, because that turned me off as Sons of Liberty was long. There's actually a clip, you know, the longest clip that he did in a video game for Metal Gear Solid, and how long it is? 71 minutes, dude.
Wow,
an hour and 11 minutes is the ending of Metal Gear Solid 4.
I didn't play Sons of. I went from Metal Gear Solid to Snake Eater to Metal Gear Solid 5.
Sons of Liberty was that had a lot of cutscenes in it, and I didn't. That turned me off of it. I didn't even buy Final Fantasy Metal Gear Solid 3 until later, which I love that one. That was really good. But see, you're Big Boss, you know, in Metal Gear Solid 3 And I'm thinking it's the same thing, same guy, but it's not.
That's what I was about to say, was how I don't know if interesting is the right word, but the fact that the Big Boss character was created, parallel to the Snake character.
Yeah.
And then when you get to Metal Gear Solid 5, they're trying to tie it all together.
Yeah.
And,
well, what's cool about it is there's 11 titles basically of the game, and 5 of them are considered prequels, and they're centered around on Big Boss. So Big Boss, if you're playing as Big Boss, you're actually playing before the time of Metal Gear Solid, or playing before Metal Gear. So that's kind of interesting to see that he actually, wrote all of these things, and then in different random places you have it going on. Here's the just for everybody's information. Here's the Metal Gear chronology of all the games. 64 is when Snake Eater takes place. 70 is Portable Ops. 74 is Peace Walker. 75 is Ground Zeroes. 84 is Phantom Pain. 95 is Metal Gear. 99 is Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. 2005 is when Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes would take place. 2007 to 9 is when Sons of Liberty. 2014 is when Guns of the Patriots would take place, and 2018 is Rising Revengeance.
That's interesting. Because one of my favorite times in history is the whole post-Vietnam era. Like I absolutely love the first Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah, that was good.
Where you're in
you go to Nam.
I love that time period, and that's pretty much when the whole Snake story takes place.
Well, it just shows that Kojima actually put a lot of thought into writing out all of these games. He just didn't write them and be like, okay, well, let's move on to the next one. He actually probably thought about this before he did it and wrote it in a specific way and put out the games in a specific way. I know a lot of times people do that. So
I doubt it. He's a artist. He added on. There's no way that he's going to convince me that in 1988 he knew, like, in 2017 or 15 I'm going to put out and talk about this Big Boss character. And he may, I'm sure he did, but he didn't have the whole thing. And there's a lot of stuff you can't explain, and they always just say, there's that running joke on the internet, nano machines is what caused them to do that or whatever. So I'll give you a quick rundown of the story, just from what I understand. If you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Big Boss was actually a girl in Metal Gear Solid 3. There's a philosopher's legacy. It's just a big bank account with billions of dollars in it that all the world leaders came together for. And Snake has a U.S. operative, Decenni, a super soldier. That's Naked Snake, who's actually the Big Boss later on. Goes in, gets betrayed by Big Boss, the female, and this is all happening in Metal Gear Solid 3. And then ends up killing the Big Boss, becomes the new Big Boss. All right, and then I don't know what happens throughout. There's a whole bit convoluted with Outer Heaven and the Fox. They're Fox, and then Fox turns on Snake somehow on a Big Boss. And he creates the term Foxhound. They're that unit to go after them. There's a whole bunch of nice little tidbits like that I don't know about. But ultimately, they took the genes from Snake. And the surrogate mother, Meryl, which I don't think it was a true surrogate mother, but however, it got blended their DNAs together and created Liquid and Solid Snake to make a super soldier. And they actually made Solid as Snake as well. But that's where it picks up in Metal Gear Solid 3. You are Solid Snake. And due to their kind of unnatural aging or whatever, the Fox die or something like that, they kind of age unnaturally. Fox die is a virus that they put in there to try to kill Liquid and Solid for whatever reason. And so that's where that picks up. But Big Boss, he lives to the very end of all the Metal Gear Solid 4. He's there at the end. That's that 71 minute thing. But that is the basic of the most basic Metal Gear story you'll ever hear. And but that's about as deep as I know about it.
Well, that's as deep as you need to go unless you listen to all those tapes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they got tapes, and
you can go as deep as you want to. I'm 3% into the game as far starting from scratch, and I've got 18 cassette tapes I haven't listened to. You know, it's just
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like
60 something.
It's kind of like all the books in Skyrim. You can get as involved as you want to, you know, and I'm all about that. I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and listen to a tape.
Right.
That all kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy X, trying to find all the Albed primers so you can understand the language.
Yeah, but that wasn't essential to the story, though. They don't. Metal Gear's not. I didn't understand Metal Gear Solid story completely when I played it. I love the game. Metal Gear Solid 2. I never went back and replayed it because there's just so many cutscenes, but it was decent. And then Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid 3 I had a lot of fun playing that one. That was relatively recent. That was in the past 10 years that I played that one. Maybe in the past 5 years and finished it. But they do some really cool stuff. Let's talk about Metal Gear Solid 3 for a minute. Some of the stuff they do.
I got screwed on that one because it was actually a PS2 game.
Yeah.
And I bought it on PS3. So what happened was I had beat Metal Gear Solid 5 on PS3. And I was so hungry for more that I was like, okay, I'm going to play Snake Eater. And I was so disappointed with the port that I didn't appreciate the game like I would have if I played it in its time.
Right.
If I'd have played it on the PS2 when I should have.
I mean, you want to talk about a game that is a work of art, man. I mean, that final battle is, you finish it?
No, I didn't finish it.
So
I got to the point to where I was at the bridge, like Chuck Norris, I'm Missing in Action 2. Where you had to climb on the bottom of the bridge.
Yeah. At one point in that game, he has to climb a ladder for 2.5 minutes. He's just pushing up. And he's going out of a tunnel, and he's just clink. That might be Metal Gear Solid 2. I can't remember. But at one point, this is the kind of stuff that this dude would do, and it's funny. But anyway, Metal Gear Solid 3. So let's just talk about the character, the end, the sniper. Did you get that far?
No. I just stopped about halfway through it because I just couldn't stomach the.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening, man. And
it'd be like going from PlayStation to Nintendo.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Metal Gear Solid 5 is. I mean, that's just a fun game. I mean, we'll talk about that one in a minute, but I could certainly see that. It's certainly not as involved as Metal Gear Solid 5, but I really enjoyed all of them. You got to worry about crocodiles and animals and stuff eating you on Metal Gear Solid 3. You're like, I can go try to take this soldier out, or this crocodile I got to sneak by, and it's like, and you put the camo on and you hide, and that system was introduced in Metal Gear Solid 3, at least for me, and it kind of turned me off. But then I started playing it, and it's like, this is real intuitive. It's really easy. Anyway, like the end, there's a character called the End, and it's actually all the bosses are named after emotions felt in war: the pain, the sorrow, fear, and the end. There's maybe a couple I'm missing, but it's just stuff like that. That's what he named him after, which is pretty cool. But anyway, the End is a really old man. He's like 100 and something years old. He's the best sniper in the world or whatever. And there's a million ways to kill him. So he kind of introduces him. You're watching a kind of scouting out a warehouse or something, and you see him pull up in a truck, and they get this old man out in a wheelchair, and it's a scene, I mean, you can control your guy while the scene's going on, and they're talking, and the whole point is to gather intel on where they're going to go next. They just wheel him across. So that's when you first introduce him, and it kind of shows him, and he's explained by Campbell or whoever, like, hey, this is not Campbell, but whoever the guy that's talking to your main general or whoever. And so I'll mention that again in a minute. So you get to this big open field to fight, not an open field, excuse me, a big open woods. It's just nothing but woods. There's no buildings or anything there. It's just like a couple of ridges and all that. He's somewhere out there. It's this epic sniper battle that you can deal with him. But if you save your game and walk away for 2 weeks and come back and load it up, he'll die of old age. Is that crazy?
That's wild.
If you load it up before that, like within the middle of that, like 5 days or something, then he'll have captured captured your guy somehow. I hadn't done that one. You'll walk up to him and you'll sneak up on him and push him over, and he's dead if you wait 2 weeks.
That's one of those things that before the internet, nobody would have ever discovered.
Yeah, they wouldn't know any different.
But he probably put it in the game, as a way to, if you just can't win legitimately, you can still finish the game.
But here's the other thing: if you and I followed him the normal way, it's fine. But remember that wheelchair scene I was just talking about? It's a scene that's set up for, again, like I said, you have no idea you're supposed to do anything. But if you pull your sniper rifle out as he's wheeling by and shoot him, it kills him, and the scene doesn't even take place. So you killed one of the bosses just by right when he popped out and he got introduced. You killed him.
That sounds very familiar. I may have played through that.
I think they introduced him pretty soon in the beginning of it, but
I remember that now. I remember fighting him in that jungle and him being like invisible, and it was like very, 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 very difficult. Yeah. I don't know if I completely finished the game, but I remember that.
You would know if you finished it, because the final battle is with Boss, and it turns out she's she's really double, triple agent or whatever. Where hey, I'm with the U.S. and I'm pretending to be with Russia, but I was really with U.S. Like that kind of deal. And you learn that it's an epic battle in like this rose garden, like roses, flowers everywhere. They're all white, and it's just the music is. It's unbelievable, man. It's so memorable. It's like the best boss fight I've ever fought in a game. And you fight her or whatever, and whatever happens, you realize what's going on. And you knock her out, and you point your gun at her. It's a scene, and she's laid out, and you point the gun at her head. And you know that she's a good guy now, but she has to die so Snake can take the blame, or Russia and U.S. will get an all-out missile, nuclear war or whatever. But the game waits. Like, you're like, what's going to happen? Why isn't he like shooting her? And it just freezes kind of. And it's waiting on you as the player to pull the trigger on the controller. And then you do, boom, and it shoots her. And then like starting from her body, like all the flower petals to turn red and flutter all out. Man, it's crazy. It's an awesome ending. Look it up on YouTube. I want to check it out myself now. Thinking about it.
Did you start crying?
No, but the horse does. He goes, something. Your horse will buck and start crying.
Horse.
To sum up that part, what was stated about that was the final part of her mission was to sacrifice her honor and die at the hands of Snake under the guise of a traitor to prove the U.S. innocence in Volgren's nuclear attack during the Virtuous mission.
Yeah.
So basically, she was just trying to prove the U.S. innocence by dying as a traitor.
Yeah, so she wanted to pretend to be a traitor so she could avoid all that nuclear war between Russia and USA. All right, so after Metal Gear Solid 3, I didn't play any of the PSP. I actually got Peace Walker on PSP. Most people played it on PlayStation 3. Do you remember that one, Coach?
I didn't play it.
I don't know how that came out on PS3. I think it's like a compilation or something.
Like I said, I remember Metal Gear Solid from '98. How much I loved it, and then I vaguely remember my brother having the second one, Sons of Liberty, at our house out in Hillsborough, and kind of tinkered with it, but didn't get involved in it, and then I completely forgot about Metal Gear until. I saw him start. 5. I saw him promoting 5, and I liked it so much. I went back and got 3. You know, and like I said, I was kind of disappointed because you can reverse engineer a great video game.
Yes,
it's supposed to be a progression, but
So did you remember the one on the NES?
I played it like very little, but I actually watched a video on it. It was about 35 minutes long. A guy doing a speed run of it, basically, and like speed runs of the game take like 35 minutes. But I remember watching it because I remember it. It brought back memories of it because I remember playing it and going, oh well, I got to kill these guys, so I better sneak around them, get behind them, choke them out, hide them. Well, this dude was like running just right by him and making sure he just ran under the cameras to get everywhere. So, I mean, that's just the vague remembrance I have of it.
What wasn't it totally like top down overhead?
Yeah, it's all top down. Okay. It was all top down, 2D stuff.
I remember renting it.
Yes, I was going to say Video Visions.
I remember the cover of it. Like I can see the cover of the game. Yeah, in my brain, that the little video store that used to be out close to where I live, they would give you.
Oh, that's right. You had the one over there by where Northside is now. That little
J&D. They would give you a free rental for every A you got on your report card.
Yep, I remember that place because I stopped by there on my way to my grandmother's in Harperville.
So that was my video game rentals. Metal Gear was on the list. Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
and
they had
Wizards and Warriors, Rygar.
Oh, that was good.
There's just a select few they had, but Metal Gear was one of them.
Yeah, that little one, they only had a handful of that one.
I don't know what's going on with Konami and just copying like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger for Contra, and then they just copied Kyle Reese from and it's so random. Like, why Kyle Reese? It could have been anything. That's who they got for their stealth guy. It's Kyle Reese.
I listened to y'all's the podcast y'all did where y'all talking about Contra, and you posted that picture of Arnold and Sylvester Stallone, and it's perfect.
It is.
It never occurred to me, but it's
this Kyle Reese's picture from Terminator, either 1 or 2, but he's in the future where he's with the Terminators. I'll show you. I'll show it to you. And it's like it's exact dead on. It's not like a likeness. It's like no doubt they copied it, but they couldn't get Chuck Norris on there or something like that. They got Kyle Reese from Terminator, and I don't even think Terminator was out. No, it was out.
Terminator came out in '84.
Yeah, it was out, but and it had to be '92 when
they probably didn't want to pay that Chuck Norris money.
Yeah, Kyle Reese.
Missing in Action 2 and Delta Force had come out by that point. He was stacking paper.
Yeah, so they got Kyle Reese on, but I remember renting it from Video Visions or Pops. I can't remember one of those two, Rogers. But it's that same. It's just little quirks about this game too, and this was before, and He was I don't know if it's Hideo Kojima or Hideo. I've heard it both ways, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. But I think he was just I don't know if he did something with it. I think he was the main guy for it. But anyway, he had to design it. It's for the MSX 2, I believe. That's the computerized system in Japan, and so he had to, and that was shoot 'em up, man. Contra, all these kind of games were the thing to do, man. Just blast and stuff, and just bullets going everywhere, and arcade action. But the system couldn't handle that, so he just said, "Well, I'll just make a stealth game." Then he didn't go into it saying, "I'm going to make a stealth character." It was, but yeah, you just walk up to somebody and punch them 3 times, and they bounce and they disappear. So you didn't really choke them out or anything. It was just more, and if they weren't looking directly at you, or you weren't in that, how they had that, you just kind of see a grid or wherever how they're looking. That's what it would do. But one of the weird things about it is every time you die, you have to start over. Mm-hmm. And but you got a password for it, and the password is like something like 5 characters per 10 characters per column, and like 4 rows. There's 2 columns. It was just like, dude, this is a ridiculously long password. But if you put the password in, you got to start where you left off. So it's like, you can start over from the beginning or reset the game, put the password in, and pick up at the stage you left off on. We'll go ahead and keep jumping ahead here. So they actually came out with 2 Metal Gear Solid 2s. The first one is called Snake's Revenge, and that was for the NES. And that one was not the direct sequel. Hideo had nothing to do with that one. And that's the one I have. The actual Metal Gear Solid 2, it came out on that compilation for PS3, but it was for the MSX and only in Japan. That's the only one that picks up the actual story. And he actually, I think in every one, Big Boss gets killed, but he never gets killed. Everybody just accepts it. Whatever, he's still here. Like on part 2, they beat MacGyver some with a lighter and a aerosol can. It like just catches him on fire. But he still lives somehow. And that's what Metal Gear Solid, the first one, is like. You will give us Big Boss's body, or we're going to launch a nuclear war. That's what they wanted. Yeah. And so that's where we get into that one. And you first introduced the Solid Snake, who's the son of, or the clone of Big Boss, like we talked about. And this one had a lot of cool things in it. I just want to talk about a couple of them. One was the Ocelot scene where he gets tortured. Did you finish that one all the way?
Which one?
Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation. Did you finish that one all the way?
Yeah.
And so you remember the scene where he's being tortured
Yeah.
Where he has to keep pushing circle real fast so his life doesn't drain.
Yeah.
And they break the fourth wall, and it's like, don't use a turbo controller or I'll know about it. And if you die here, you cannot reset the game. You have to start all over. So you're forced to kind of do that with them. That was brilliant, man.
There was a Guinness Book of World Records award given to that game for the Psycho Mantis boss battle.
Yeah.
For the greatest,
most creative.
Right. Yeah. That game was so unique in like what you're talking about, and like having to take a Valium to calm down to shoot the sniper rifle.
Yeah.
And this was
Is that a real drug, by the way? That thing it's called.
Yeah.
What's it called? Not Valium, but
Valium, diazepam. That's what
that's
called.
What it's called.
That's what it's called in the game. And
but is that what it's? Is that a real drug, diazepam?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah, like I'm supposed to know that.
Yeah,
but this was when I'm like doing the prerequisites to go to pharmacy school, so I have no idea what it is. But I know that I have this in my inventory, and if I take it, I stop shaking. Which essentially is what happens in real life when you take Valium. I mean, it's so like, deep.
The Psycho Mantis, so we'll talk about it for a second. Like he reads your memory card. I remember he asked me, "You like Castlevania and all this?" You're like, "What? How does this guy know that, man?" You're looking around the room or something. You don't think about memory cards. They didn't have all that till PlayStation. And then he's like, you think I can't read your mind? I can control stuff. Put your controller down on the table. Go ahead, lay it flat. You're like, well, okay. You lay it down, and he makes it vibrate and move. I'll make it move. And I guess you got to have a dual shock, because I didn't have a dual shock, and he didn't tell me to do that in the game. And then he, you're sitting there fighting him, and he knows everything you're going to do. And then if you call Campbell enough times, he'll tell you, put your controller in control port 2, and then he can't read your mind. You're like, oh, of course, and then you do it, and then he can't read your mind. And so that's interesting. That's when you know, like, man, this is a special game right here, dude. This is crazy. But the interesting fact is kind of a weird thing. They wanted Meryl, and Meryl is straight out of this other game, Psychonauts, is the exact same girl. Meryl in the game, they wanted her to be young, like Natalie Portman was in The Professional, because that's his love interest in the game. That's who he goes to rescue. So they wanted her to be a young 12, at preteen, that kind of stuff. And you think about that'd be kind of a weird love interest for Snake as a preteen, right? And they didn't make her an adult because that would have been a weird love interest. They made her an adult because they said no 12-year-old ever be able to handle a Desert Eagle. And that's what they gave her. And so this has to be an adult woman. She can't handle. So that's why they changed it. That is so crazy, man. I guess if they would have just gave her a little 9 meal or something, she might have still been a 12-year-old.
380.
Yeah, give her a 380 or a little 25, 22. But so they weren't going to take the Desert Eagle out.
But it's incredible that they are so thorough with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like nowadays, they would easily like have a 115-pound girl in a video game shooting a Barrett 50 caliber sniper rifle and it not even kicking. It's just like that.
She'd be holding it one-handed up in the air like a pistol.
They expect gamers to suspend their disbelief, and it's obvious that Hideo, or however you pronounce it, he was on our side of things. Like, they're going to call me out if I screw this up.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
What really made me fall in love with the story, the genre, was this guy.
You talking about Vulcan Raven?
Yeah,
Vulcan Raven.
Vulcan Raven was this Eskimo in Alaska that found an F-16 that crashed and took the Vulcan M61 cannon off of it, and you have to fight a boss that has the Gatling gun off of a fighter plane. I mean, that is so like well thought out.
Yeah,
it's usually these days you just walk up and it's just you see a guy with a red arrow over his head and that's who you're supposed to kill. But these guys are fully developed. They have a story. Every single one of them.
Good.
Yeah,
it's a universe. It creates a universe for you.
And it's been that way all along. Even Ocelot is still in Metal Gear Solid 5 with his prosthetic hand.
Yeah, his Liquid Snake hand. Yeah. He cuts off Liquid Snake's hand and glues it on his own if he lost his, and then it starts to take him. This is what's so this is one of those weird things. And then the spirit of Liquid Snake is still in his hand, and you just accept it and go, oh yeah, okay. Okay. And he starts taking. Oh, he's taking me over. I'm turning into Liquid Ocelot, and at the end, he's like, "No, I'm just kidding." He's like, he wasn't really. I was just pretending to be that.
I was just bullshit.
Yeah, he just like, well, it's all good, and like, oh, whatever, okay, cool, and he beat him up, throw him down, whatever. But I didn't play 4, but that's
Well, you'll probably agree with this, but that initial cut, pretty much playable cutscene at the beginning of Phantom Pain, it was almost like nauseating. It was so slow, like having to crawl around that hospital.
Yeah, that was. I didn't like that much.
It was.
I didn't understand how to control it, and it's like I don't even know what's going on.
It was rough, but after you get through that, it's a great game. After that, but
it is unbelievable. So we'll go ahead and talk about it because that's pretty much all the. I don't know a lot about. I didn't play Part 4. I don't even remember Sons of Liberty 2, but other than crawling up the ladder for 2.5 minutes, just hearing tink, 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 and I could just cause, you know. But so 5 for me, and I didn't finish it all. I'm like 20% in. He starts off and he has, and don't tell me about it if you know or anybody, but he had his arm removed because this is all happened in Ground Zero. This is a direct sequel to Ground Zero. I didn't realize. I thought Ground Zeroes, and that came out for a $40 game, Ground Zeroes, and it's like a 3-hour game. It's a $40 game. And I thought it was just basically a preview of, it's kind of marketed as a preview for Phantom Pain, but it's actually a whole separate story. So if you really want the story, you have to go back and play that one. And so anyway, but at the end of that one, a girl has a bomb in her stomach or something like that, and they're trying to pull the bomb out, and they get the bomb out, and she survives, and then everybody's happy, and then she's like, oh, I got another bomb.
She jumps out of the helicopter and blows up.
To save everybody. It blows up, and that's how Big Boss wakes up in a hospital. And I don't know, you had to pick your face, and it didn't do anything different. I don't understand that.
I think that was a joke. I think that was there like poking fun at the fact that all these games like let you customize yourself. And I really spent like an hour like trying to make him look like myself, like the angle of my nose and my eyebrows and everything.
Yeah. And then it looks like Snake.
and then it doesn't even do anything.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what is this about?
Even in Tiger Woods golf, I like took a picture of my face with a camera, imported it into the game. Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody wants to
be the hero of the
control themselves in the game, and I think that was just kind of like an Easter egg of him just poking fun
at the beginning.
Yeah, because
that's a good. So that threw me off, and then I was like, wait, whatever. I'm going. You got the mask on the whole time, right? You got the gals on the whole time over your face that you're trying to escape, so you can't see. And then it just says Snake. It's just like, wow, we spent all that time for nothing.
I'm back.
But yeah, he has the fake arm, prosthetic arm that's like a robot arm that can do anything. I think there's one hand that comes off and hits people with it, and like he can shoot it like a rocket or something. I'm still waiting to get that developed. And then you have some shrapnel stuck out of your forehead like a horn, that threw me off.
You know what's beat up? Snake's eye patch is on his right eye.
Yeah,
and he's right-handed.
Yeah,
so you're
from
always
Mississippi. You know better.
You're always aiming down the sight with the wrong eye. But that's been going on for like the whole series, hasn't it? Snakes.
Yeah, well, he got it knocked out in like 3, I think. The very first one. Yeah,
88.
And so you know better than that. But anyway, so what I like about this game is how it's open world, and like you can obviously you can just explore. You take these side missions and it's just rescue a hostage. Okay, so you go in there and do it, and like I said, you can go in there any way you want to. And as you're doing this, you leave your area called Mother Base, and you're rebuilding Mother Base from scratch. And this is kind of like that Suikoden game I was talking about, where you recruit characters and they go back and they kind of build your castle up. Of course, Suikoden is actually more involved than this one is for that, but they all have different traits. So let's say so you get graded on a S to an E scale. So S, A, B, C, D, E, and then you got A+, A++, and so on. But actually an S is the best. But so they'll be good at intel, they'll be good at research and development, they'll be good at base building, medical, so on and so forth. So you want to get, you see a guy that's has A+ in something, you don't want to just shoot him, even though it'd be easier. You want to try to capture this guy. So you shoot him with a tranquilizer, however, you go knock him out. And then you put a balloon on him, and he flies up in the air, and you just, cool, he's at my base now. It's just one of those weird things, but the people can see the balloon. If they see, they'll try to shoot it back out of the sky. It's like if you're trying to launch them on there. So
that's unique to Hideo. He's done several different genres of games. Like he did Dark Souls, he did Bloodborne, and the S, for some reason, his formula is that S is better than A. It's like S, A, B, C, so forth. Like in Dark Souls, S is the best rating you can get on a sword.
Yeah.
And in Metal Gear, S is the best rating you can get on an operative. So it's kind of cool that he's maintained that.
Redone the whole grade scale, but. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so you got those choices to go do, and you look through with your binoculars, and it'll kind of give you once you get your binoculars upgraded, it'll give you what their stats are, right? So you can tag them or whatever, or you can just go in there blasting and have the helicopter come in and take them out or whatever. There's a bunch of different things. I got a silent sniper rifle, and I run with what's her name, Quiet, who's just a fanfare.
She's hot.
Sexual,
she's
sex
hot.
Appeal. But they got a reason for it. She breathes through her skin. That's why she's naked. It would make what would really be cool. I don't know, and if this is what happens, don't tell me. But so I don't know the story yet. But it would be. I would accept it better if think about this. Hey, we need to make a super quiet sniper, the best. She's some kind of created being like the liquid and solid snakes, and they dressed her up, or they created that being to be like that real sexy woman, just in case she got caught or seen, that the people would more than likely go, they would kind of at least be stunned for a moment or whatever the case, or be more likely to treat her differently. That's kind of
I read something earlier today. It was kind of like a joke. It said it was this piece of armor you could get, and you could unzip it, and you would momentarily stun any enemies in an AoE, but it was only usable by female characters. It's kind of funny because the gaming community is generally masculine. Male. But it's true. And so I could buy that as a military thing, as if that was kind of how they said it. But I mean, and whatever, it's a game. That's what they do. They do that for the sex appeal, and that's a lot. Every game does that. One thing I like about it is the actual missions. There's just enough side op missions too. It doesn't feel like you have to go off and you kind of forget what's going on, and I got to go do this and whatever. And they just enough rewards too. Well, let me mention this. The two of the first side missions you have to do, I had completely forgot about this. One of them is you have to
Russian interpreter
and a Pashto interpreter, which are the primary languages of Afghanistan and Russia, and that's integral to playing the game. So they're not just BS missions like
fetch quest.
Go pick some plants from here, or go deliver this package to this NPC. They're legitimate.
Oh, you want me to make a serum for in case you get shot in the arm? I need 6 whisper willows. So go fetch them. And you're like, dude, 1 of 6. 2 of 6. It's like
you get one XP when you come back.
Yeah, but you get your serum. Oh, thanks, steak. Yeah, they're worthwhile. But the main missions are a little bit graded. They're graded a little bit differently. You lose points for getting hit. You gain points by sneaking through without killing anybody. And one of the main things that I did like about this game at first, because I'm not a big sneaking game kind of guy, but you can sneak, and I always end up sneaking for the majority of it, and then kind of go loud later. And if you do go in guns blazing, it's not really a big penalty. It's not super hard to do. You put it in first person mode with the gun and shoot them right in the head or whatever with a silencer. And they also have a research and development type of mechanic in there to where you get GMP and you can update your rifles or whatever. Just get new rifles and new Jeeps and stuff for your helicopter. Whatever, camo boxes, the cardboard box is a lot of fun. And there's a lot of hidden Easter eggs in this one, too. Like I said, I'm only 25% in, but...
What is legit, though, is that you blow out your silencer after, like 4 or 5 shots, which, that's realistic. You can't just go around shooting a whole clip through a silencer and expect it to hold up. So, I mean, it's very well done. What do you call it? Artificial intelligence, the AI of the enemies is a little bit subpar. You would get killed in real life a lot sooner than you do in the game, but at the same time, you can't just tiptoe your way through it. It's realistic to a certain extent, but at the same time, the enemies are kind of stupid. If you hide in the grass, they'll forget about you.
Yeah, they're not gonna leave the base camp. Yeah. And I kind of like that. I mean, part 1, I thought, or not part 1, but Metal Gear Solid, they found you. It was it was a little bit harder to get away. You had to go hide under something or whatever. You can't just I think it does good. And one of my favorite things about it too is that they do a little bit of a delay when they see you. It kind of goes in slow motion.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Except the tranquilizer pistol, is one shot at a time.
Yeah,
you really can get 2 of them at a time. But if you're killing and not extracting, like I'm still at that point in the game where I'm trying to extract everybody just to saturate mother base, even with D and E, just crap guys.
Yeah,
and that's another thing. I don't know if you've gotten to it yet, but you will. Is you'll get to the point to where you'll spend as much time like managing your personnel as you do playing the game, because it really benefits you. Like if you can upgrade your helicopter by moving this guy from combat to
that's what I did.
Research.
I just started doing that for intel to get my binoculars up, because I don't get the troublemakers, because they start beating on my guys and they put them in the hospital. But that slow motion part. I mean, one thing I like, just kind of give you a little fun part about the game. There's a big base. It's like a landing pad for a helicopter, and it was in Afghanistan.
It's an oil rig in the Antilles.
Well, there's one in This one wasn't the oil rig. The oil rig is in Africa.
Yeah, right? Off the coast of Afghanistan. Of Madagascar, my bad.
Yeah, so, but no, this was in Afghanistan. Anyway, so it's a sandstorm that comes, and they can't see as good, and you can't either if it's a sandstorm. What I would do is put on the night vision goggles and just run out there, and they would, they'd see me, and boom, and I'd have a silent showing us pull up, boop, right in the head, and then another guy, boom, and I just run through so fast, and every time they see me, and then run back out like some death angel or something just swept through. And everybody's like, dude, they don't know what happened. You go back and hide or whatever, and so they never saw you. And that's fun, man. But they did a good job with this one so far. I'm really enjoying this one, and like I said, it's really addicting. And I mean, that's what I've been playing the past week or so, and nothing else. And so I was like, man, yeah, we got to do one on this one. But Metal Gear Solid 5 was all good. We probably could have kept it under an hour with just that. But the Metal Gear in itself is a huge universe, story.
it's a game changer. Like I was telling you a couple of weeks ago, like Splinter Cell, Siphon Filter, every one of those games is a ripoff of Metal Gear. They're just anything
espionage.
Espionage, stealth oriented. You know, they even brought some of that into some of Tom Clancy's stuff, the Rainbow Six stuff. What was that you were talking about earlier? You and Brandon played.
SOCOM.
SOCOM. I mean, anytime you can have the option of stealth as opposed to just guns blazing, you are drawing from the formula that was laid down in 1998.
Yeah, well, now I have to disagree with you a bit on the whole SOCOM and Metal Gear Solid. There's not much correlation to that for what it is, because I mean, you look at a warfare game like SOCOM. That's more Call of Duty style like that. That's not going in there trying to do sneaking espionage at all in that. You're just trying to kill the other person. Whereas Metal Gear Solid, you're not always trying to kill anybody. You can go through most of the game without killing people.
I probably should have left it at Siphon Filter and Splinter Cell. Because, but I was just...
I got your point.
I got your point.
I'm gonna tell you a game right now that'll change your world if you hadn't played it. It's one of the most underrated, I don't know if it's underappreciated. I'm not sure it got good reviews.
Rainbow Six 2 Vegas.
Please. It's on Xbox 3. You got an Xbox 360?
Yeah.
Go get it. It's probably $5. It's called Alpha Protocol, and the tag, the espionage RPG. And dude, it is. Yep. You know about this one, Clear?
I know it vaguely. I've had a couple friends that played it.
Tell me again so I can write it down.
It's called Alpha Protocol, an espionage RPG. So it is. You sneak around. It is so intuitive, though. You can shoot people, whatever. But what you do, you got choices to make and stuff. And there's like. It's like you'll be in your apartment. It's like, all right, where do you want to go, sir? Where do you want to go, boss? Or we want you to go to one of these three things. And I don't know if you're the boss or you're just I can't remember. But they tell you want to go to what country you're going to first. Here's the situation. Here's the intel we have. Which one do you want to handle first? And you go to that country. Well, stuff unfolds. You got to make decisions and stuff too. It's not like a text-based thing. It's action, but there are choices you have to make, and it changes the entire story depending on which one country you go to first, depending on what you say, and if you kill somebody or not. I mean, it is a great game, man. And I saw it and I read the back of it, and I said, this game sounds and looks awesome, but I haven't heard anything about it, so it must be terrible. But I bought it when it was real cheap, like $5, and man, I played that game all the way through without stopping.
Can you beat it?
Yeah, I didn't finish it. I think I got to Russia. And there's a lot of decisions, and I got too much anxiety, and I had to quit. No, but it was like I could tell this was a big scene, and I was like, man, what if I would have come here first? And I just kind of probably what really happened. Another game came out. It's great, man. You need to get that, and you'll love it. But anyway,
I'll check it out.
Just wanted to point out that in February 20th of 2018, Metal Gear Survive is supposed to drop.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
It's the newest Metal Gear, but it's Kojima is not on it. He didn't do any development or anything on it, and it's a survival game more so than an actual Metal Gear style game. So it's going to be a different experience, and it looks like you have zombie-esque things that you have to fight. So it looks neat, but be prepared for a different type of game than a normal Metal Gear Solid game. I haven't seen the trailer or anything for it.
You really go around and collect stuff. It's a survival.
You're trying to collect stuff.
You'll run into other people.
The other zombie-esque creatures are trying to collect stuff to get back to their home world. And so you're trying to sneak around them to collect your stuff, but they also will attack you. So
look at the
it's kind of one of those things.
The first little sneak peek that the director put out. It's like about a 10-minute thing, and
yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
It's actually looks pretty legit. I think it looks pretty fun.
I'll give it a chance. I'm just tired of like zombies. Every game I buy is there's zombies. Zombies. There's the
there's
the campaign.
But you buy
there's the campaign. There's multiplayer. There's zombies. It don't matter what game it is.
Red Dead Redemption had zombies come out in it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
A cowboy western game had zombies in it later, and they loved that game, and I bought it. And the zombie portion of it, Living Undead Nightmare or something like that. But that's a unique twist on it. But that'll probably do it for this one. You'll probably get with Coach again on February 7th. That should be deconflicted with your schedule. And we'll have Edgy on here to talk about EverQuest for all the EverQuest or MMO fans. We'll kind of talk about those in general. She's a big gamer and knows about all that kind of stuff too. But anyway, so cool. Yeah, guys, follow us on Twitter, Hollywood Cole, HOLLIWOODKOLE. Hit us up on Twitter or Facebook. And don't forget to like us on or favorite us or follow us on the Podbean. Leave us a review. If you like this podcast, leave us a review on the Facebook page or on podcast or Podbean. Leave us some comments. Just let us know how we're doing. All right, cool. Well, that will do it. So we will catch you guys next time. All right, thanks, guys.